Pulse of AI on the C-Suite Radio Network. I'm your host, Jason Stoughton, founder of the Foghorn Group here in Silicon Valley. On today's show, I am joined by Abakar Saidov, who's the founder and CEO of a really cool startup named Beamery. Beamery is focused on recruiting, but is taking a unique approach that they call candidate relationship management. Similar to CRM systems on the sales side, but focused on talent and recruiting. It's a really, really neat product, and I think you're going to like it. And if you like what you hear, follow me on LinkedIn and reach out and start a conversation. I would love to hear from you. It's going to be a great show. Let's get started. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So give our listeners, a little background on what drove you to found Beamery and what is the sort of core problem that you're looking to solve?
So I ask myself this question a lot, actually, and because we started from an angle of the human problem. So we were looking at the idea of online, you're not a candidate or a customer, you're just someone browsing the internet. And what kind of things have happened over the last decade that have created innovation in the way that we communicate with companies and with brands and with businesses. And there's been a huge transition from just a transactional model of, I need a pair of trainers and I'm going to go and buy the cheapest pair available, to a generation now of millennials or Gen Z who identify with the brand, who, you buy Nike or Under Armour or something else because of what the company stands for, how they communicate, how they engage with you. And we thought, why are people not doing that in talent? Surely that's even more important in talent. And so when we started the company, it came out of just asking a lot of questions. We did probably around 50 interviews with VPs of talent, VPs of HR, and just asked them questions to say, tell us everything that you think could be better to make your company better at talent. And we found actually there's this amazing cognitive dissonance that happens between what companies say is important to them versus what they actually do. So if you ask any CEO, what is your top 3 priorities? Talent is almost always in the top 3. And then you'll say, okay, great. So you're then investing those kinds of resources into change, into technology, into process, into people to drive, the talent priority. And the answer is, no, we're not. And then we kind of thought, okay, so if talent is so important, why are you not equally spending on it? And that's where really, really interesting answers came out. We asked people, what are the biggest issues and challenges you're facing? And the answers were pretty kind of unanimous. It was, well, we kind of know how to hire people once the resume hits our desk. What we are trying to do and what we're really struggling with is, how do we get the people that aren't applying to talk to us? How do we get those kind of mythical passive candidates? And we said, okay, well, how are you trying to do that? Because surely if this is important, then you must be doing something. And the answer was, oh yes, of course. We have sourcing teams, we have employer branding, we have campus recruiting and events and all of these things that actually look like a sales and marketing operation. And so we thought, wow, so you're telling us you have the equivalent of outbound and inbound and experience and recruiting ops and exec search and internal mobility and forecasting and planning. What CRM are you using? What marketing software are you using? And the answer was, we use spreadsheets. And so for us, we really found a fascinating problem, that there is this huge gap as a category between someone being found on the internet on a LinkedIn or something else versus them applying for a job, which is like the final step in the process, where it's like a buying decision. So applying for a job is like a checkout basket. And there was an entire missing piece of, between finding someone and them deciding to apply, that's usually months. And where is that handled? How does a company turn that from kind of accidentally happening to actually being a science?
You touched on how recruiting has changed, and it looks a lot like a sales process. And part of that is, as somebody who's, I've hired people for companies, I've been deeply involved with that. One of the main changes, it seems, that's happened over the last 10, 15 years, is that one of the number one challenges in recruiting used to be was the identification